suspension. Why would that be any different?
That's no more autographs. This is a press conference.
That's again, that's out of my control.
He'd be crazy to try something like that again, but will you be extra?
I won't be extra. I'm extra careful every time. I don't trust anybody. I don't. I mean, you know what? When I stick my hands inside the gloves, they look at me like I'm fucking crazy. What are you doing? I said, I'm checking, make sure the gloves aren't tampered with. And I have that right, and I will do that. And it's like the thing is, it's like Oscar or anyone else. I mean, I checked Oscar's gloves before the fight. They said, you don't trust Oscar? Sorry, I'm just doing my job.
Freddie, so I get that right. You objected to the wrapped up tape between Oscar's fingers, right?
Yes.
And the Nevada Commission allowed him to have it?
Yes.
But you think it disturbed him a little bit mentally?
No, because I did it with Pacquiao, and he loved it. And we do that every fight now. And Oscar's taper, Joe Chavez, my good friend, I felt bad for Joe, but Joe forgot to do it.
Oh, he didn't. He just didn't do it.
So they said, well, we didn't do it, so you can't do it. I said, you guys won the argument. I said, I can do it.
Freddie, how much do you think it would help or hurt his cause by admitting it?
I'm not I don't believe in cheating. I can't rap, I rap people every day in my life and so forth. I can't do illegal rap when I had to. So, if you can't do it, legally, I do it well. One more. Winning world title is not worth it in my opinion. So, I really...
Freddie, obviously going into this fight,
thanks there, guys. Thanks, good.
Margarito, height and reach. Do you think that's something that
deleting your number
maybe could adapt to relatively easily?
Yeah, it's very similar to when we fought Oscar a little bit bigger and so forth. But again, the speed will take care of that. No problem. The thing is, if you have a reach advantage, that's so easy to take away by just getting a little bit closer. It's all about distance. The Pacquiao knows distance very, very well.
Recently, about a couple of months ago, we talked about the situation with James Toney going to UFC, and you said you didn't want him to do it. You knew why, and you told me why then. Now that this happened, give me your perspective.
Exactly what I told you. As soon as go before it's over, you don't have a grand when they see that fight was boxer versus MMA, that's a lie. That's not true. It was an MMA match. How long were we going to last when we moved James Toney in the boxing match? That's what I want to see. But the thing is, they were just trying. It was a PR move. James needed money, and they got him a price that they wanted to pay him, or put him in with a pretty good fighter. And again, but it was an MMA match. It's a whole different sport. If you fight boxing rules, the boxer's going to win. If you fight MMA rules, the MMA guy's going to win. Because we don't have fight in the ground. And, James at his age, he's not going to let anyone know. He's too hard heavy.
And in that situation, where do you think James is right now as a boxer?
I think he should retire. I mean, that's why me and him are not together anymore. After the second Peter fight, I asked him to retire. He told me to go fuck myself. We're still friends, though. But, I don't believe that personally, but I won't train him anymore.
Is part of that the slurring of his speech?
Yes, that's part of it, and just the punishment he took in that fight was really, really.
The second Peter fight.
The second Peter fight, and now he's getting hit by big heavyweights. It's not the middleweights anymore, and they're taking a toll on him. It's part of life. I mean, there's a period where we're all.
As a friend, you'd like to see him quit.
After that fight, I asked him to retire as a friend and as a coach. But the thing is, I just don't see anything really positive on him continuing.
Throughout the week, he kept saying, I'm going to continue to compete in boxing, but also in mixed martial arts. I want to get your reaction to that. James is saying he's not going to stop. He's going to do both.
Well, hopefully the commissions will have some strict rules and tests and so forth that they may have to pass. And, if they pass him, then he has every right in the world to fight. I do like that we live in a free country and we do have freedom of choice. But sometimes that freedom of choice isn't always what's best for us. I mean, I remember when Eddie asked me to retire and I said no. And I fought 5 more times. I lost 4 out of 5. I mean, maybe I should have No, not maybe. I guess I should have read.
You train some of the top MMA guys, George St. Pierre. When you go through those actions, you work with them. You ever work with James Toney?
Again, no. I won't. Again, I told James, we'll remain friends. You get a new coach, and that's how it is. The thing is, because I just can't. I can't do that to him. I can't get him ready for a fight because I know his best years behind him. I just would never do that.
Freddie, what do you think about Tony wanting to fight Kimbo Slice? Boxing match.
Your boxing match?
Tony wants to fight him. He's not on record saying it.
If you can't be a world champion in this sport, don't fucking do it. That's my opinion.
Freddie, what do you think is missing from
I mean,
the last two fights? Margarito obviously was the Mosey fight, and he looked so-so against Garcia in the last fight. Have we seen the best of Antonio Margarito, you think? And how much of his success you think may have been to other things going on inside as well?
again, I wasn't there, so I can't really say, the Cotto fight will have a question mark on it for the rest of his life. Okay, I talked to the commissioner that was in the dressing room that night, and he shows me everything was clean. He says he did his job very well. So,
What about the last two fights? What do you think?
The last two fights, not too impressive, but I think Pacquiao will bring out the best in him because a lot's at stake here, and a win here would make all those bad things go away.
Would you have gone, if Texas hadn't licensed him, would you have gone to Mexico for this fight?
I would leave it up to Manny. If Manny said yes, again, the ring's the same size as anywhere in the world. I have no problem with it in Mexico or anywhere. I have no problem with that. That's really the decision Manny had to make, not me.
What did Manny want as far as an opponent? You said you would have liked to have Marquez. I mean, from the start, was Manny always focused on Margarito, or was it?
No, Manny just always says, I want to fight the best guy out there. So they offered him this fight, and this was the best fight he felt at this time. So my job is to get him ready for this guy.
Do you think if Mayweather is not the next fight, that Marquez should be?
Should be, yes. I mean, I think he deserves it because there were some close fights. So I thought Manny won both fights again, but again, they were very close fights. So the thing is, and that fight will only happen at 47. Manny will not go below that. I won't let Manny fight below 47 anymore.
Cut that much weight. How does that affect his training? Him not having to cut weight.
He's happy, and he can eat. That makes a difference.
Happy fighter with
I agree. It may be sound foolish, but it's true.
Do you think this Margarito fight would be happening if these were not promoted by the same company?
Possibly. I mean, I can't definitely say that. I can assume it like you. I can look at the picture and say, Bob has both guys, easy to put together. Golden Boy, Bob doesn't line that well right now. So be it. I mean, that's not my decision. I don't work for either company, so I'm very independent, and I always will be.
Freddie, speaking of Bob, what do you think is missing with him off the tour to search for his son? It's pretty quiet press conference.
Pretty quiet press conference. I feel for Bob a lot though, because I just lost my older brother last year, Joey, and the person that affected the most in that was my mother. I mean, really taken a lot out of her and really affected. So when the sibling passed away before, or let's be positive, I guess. Hopefully, everything's gonna be okay. But the thing is, I feel for Bob right now. He's going through a tough time. I mean, I go through a tough time when I think about my brother all the time. Sometimes I want to call him up and shit like that, and he's not there.
Is it safe to say Amir and Julio Jr. will be the two main sparring partners?
Julio will be in the Philippines, and Amir will be towards the end. And I have a couple more guys in mind, yes. Vanes Manarosian possibly for his size, and David Rudello for his aggressiveness. And I've got about 6 guys in mind. So we're going to use 3 the first month in the Philippines, and then I'll switch sparring partners the last month.